What's going on, guys? Greg here, American Dream Property Services. Just pulled up to a house that we have a lead on. We're doing a walkthrough right now, and we're gonna go ahead and check it out, see what the price is gonna be. I already talked to the customer over the phone, and now we're gonna kind of hone in, zero in on what needs to be done, and see where we can go. What's going on, guys? Just got a new lead we're gonna check out today. They called in yesterday looking for a mowing service. They just moved into the area and they're debating on having buying their own mower or having someone else do it. And I told them, being it's this close to the end of the season, might as well invest some money in having someone else do it for the labor, and then have the winter time frame to go ahead and think about purchasing a mower or whatnot. Because when you're spending that much money on all the equipment, it can add up $2,000, $3,000 pretty fast. Then you're spending all your time on labor, fuel costs and whatnot. So we're gonna check this out. I already quoted them $65 is my minimum for bi-weekly. I told them that can go up to about $80 depending on if we're hitting those half-acre, full fenced-in yards with a lot of pools, sheds, and whatnot for all the trimming. We're gonna go ahead and check this out and see what it looks like as far as the long cost. So pretty much what your standard yard size is for out here, just outside the city limits, is about a half-acre. You're gonna see that they have these ditches generally in the front of the homes. Those kind of provide some level of difficulty. Some have to get push mowed, some can get ride on. So with the angle of this, we'll be able to ride on it, so it'll keep the cost down as far as labor. It's not overgrown right now. The property was maintained from the previous tenants, so that's not too bad. There's probably not going to be any overgrown charge. We can see that the backyard is fenced in, so that's going to not worry about, or we can see the backyard's fenced in, but it has a double gate. So we're not going to worry about having to push mow the backyard, because the property this size, that would really up the cost. But we got our standard probably 75-foot wide property. It's about 100 feet wide property, and it probably goes back another couple hundred feet. So we'll go ahead and check that out. One thing that I noticed early on doing this is I would come to quotes and estimates. I would do my walkthrough, and I would open the gate just up enough to be able to walk through it myself. I would quote off a price to be able to do it with my big ride-on mower, and then I would come to mow it, and the gate wouldn't open at all, much past what I tried it. So every time you come to a property, you got to make sure the gate's open fully. So that one's pretty good. You can see how sometimes the grass will grow up or the dirt grows up, but this gate opens plenty. The mower's 60 inches, and if your arm span, is about as tall as you are, so it opens up more than 6 feet, and my 60-inch mower will fit through it nicely. Looks like they have some sort of a garden bed here, a couple extra flower beds, and the whole fence line's going to get trimmed. So this might up the minimum from 65. But we'll go ahead and check out the rest of it and see what's going on. So here it looks like the fence line, only walking the first couple feet, it looks like the fence line used to be sprayed with weed killer, which is a good money saving tactic for these larger homes, because it really does add up a lot of time to be able to weed eat or string trim all the fences and all the borders. So what you'll do is you'll spray the weed killer down at the edge of the fence, and that'll prevent you from having to spend that time on the trimmer. The mower can get up right next to it, and then there's no worries there. One of the ways that you could tell here is that they have a pretty healthy lawn as far as not too many weeds. A lot of the grass is growing to seed, and there's a few weeds popping up, but you can really tell on the fence border that it's all weeds on the fence. None of the grass goes up to it, and you can clearly see a difference. So this at one point was sprayed probably maybe last season, and this season, with them selling the home, they just haven't resprayed it. So that's something that you possibly upsell to the customer, is having the fence line sprayed, because it's going to save time on trimming, which is going to save the homeowner costs and the actual landscaper time from actually having to do the trimming. So far, there's not a lot of them, but there's about three or four trees with overhangs that could be affected by the mower. When you look at one, you don't really think much of it, but when you start adding them together, it's something that can actually add into the time factor. This isn't too bad. One of the other things you want to check out for is roots also. If your mower can't get up, nice and tight next to the tree, whether it's because of the overhang or it's because roots that are popping up, that can add 5 or 10 minutes with all the trees combined. So if you're, shooting for a certain price point per minute, to cover overhead, operating expenses, and all that stuff, and your labor, things like that can add up over time. So another thing here for the fence line is either a possible upsell to see if the customer wants to do it. But you have all these vines growing up on the fence. You can calculate that. One of the big things is to make it clear that that's not part of your lawn care estimate. When you're shooting out lawn care estimates, it's only for maintaining the property as far as lawn mowing, weed eating around the edges, and blowing off all those hard surfaces. You'll run into a few customers that think everything landscaping related is part of lawn care. So that's just one of the things that you kind of differentiate and then possibly upsell to the customer. But yeah, you can clearly tell here that there was a spray line about a foot's distance off. It's pretty predominant, or it's pretty prominent that there was a spray line here. This tree doesn't have any roots that would really hinder the mower. Some of your more mature trees, like your 60-year-old trees, they're gonna have some prominent roots that are coming across the top that could really hinder that. This edge of the pool, it's actually low enough to where you can mow right over it. This was gonna be considered a lot of extra time with the string trimming, but coming over here now and looking at it, it's a lot more maintainable with the lawnmower itself. So that'll kind of keep the price down as well. A large property with a lot of different intricacies. You can see that the previous owner did spray their walkways. So getting some sort of spraying package, and then even on the fireplace. A lot of fireplaces, they get overgrown pretty fast, and then no one maintains them anymore just because they don't want to use them because they are getting too covered in weed. But here you can see that it's been sprayed with weed killer. So that's something else that you want to look for. This would have no issues with trimming. Whereas sometimes a lot of fireplaces can have issues with trimming. Just it builds up a lot. So with a property like that, it does fit the bill for about that $65 minimum for that biweekly service. It's probably going to hit just over an hour for the first time mowing it. And there is some of those things that you want to incorporate with other packages as far as the fence control, the weed control. Probably going to shoot over in the initial estimate $80 for the first service, and reevaluating it after the first service. That's something that you can use in your toolbox. Is you don't have to start with a set price. I did that a lot early on, and still in the first season, but I did that a lot early on. I started off with a set price, and I really screwed myself over for those first couple of cuts until it became in a manageable state. Something like this, I would like to see it at an hour time being here and hitting that $65 mark. Because that helps out the customer, but it still covers everything that I need to cover. But for the first time doing it, you can put out there that you're going to do it for a higher price, get a feel of the property, make sure you have it in control, and then come down to a lower price for the maintenance part of it. And what that can do with a homeowner or a renter is it shows that you actually have an understanding of what you're doing. Just throwing out, a single price, the homeowner's going to enjoy hearing a single price, and it's a lower price. They're going to enjoy that. Say someone else quotes $65 or $60 or $50 to mow the lawn, and they just hear that quote. And then they also hear my quote of, hey, we're going to do it for $80 for the first cut. Get that understanding of the property, really feel it out, and then we're going to lower it down, to something that we feel is better on the maintenance side of it. But as far as, the first time getting a feel for it, we want to ensure we're hitting everything properly. A homeowner can really see value when a price is higher because they know that you're going to get a better service. When you're paying for value, especially with lawn care, you get that a lot, is you're paying for quality. A cheap mow is gonna be a cheap mow, monetarily, and then for the value of it. So we'll shoot that estimate over. Probably get a video of me typing up that estimate, getting it done, and then we'll go from there.